Hi everyone, my name is Evangeline and I'm the owner of Makeup Tips, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review, demo and swatches of the Stila Heavens Hue Highlighters. So these are a very popular product in the makeup world at the moment, and they're a product that I'm sure many of you are curious about. So I thought, why not do a review and swatches of all three shades for you. So as you can see, these highlighters are not a traditional cream and they're not a traditional powder either. They are a cream to powder highlighter that have a very interesting sort of putty-like texture that sort of moves around as you press your finger into the product. So there's a look at all three shades there. So we've got Transcendence, Kitten and Bronze. So they do have a little bit of a metallic-y finish to them, as you can see. So the first shade I've got is the shade Transcendence. So this is quite a sort of opalescent shade. It's got quite a pinky sort of purple tone to it and gives a very sort of lit within look. This is not the particular shade that I prefer for highlighting. It is a shade that does seem to cater more to sort of pale and porcelain skin tones, but I find that it isn't necessarily the most natural shade in the world, and it's not something that I would choose to wear on a day-to-day basis to work or anything like that. So as you can see, these highlighters are quite buildable, so they do have a really beautiful intense pigment to them, but you can really sort of mold them to the way that you like. So you can either shear them out quite a bit, or you can either build them up quite a bit so that you get the desired effect that you prefer. So you can apply these with your fingers, or you can apply them with a brush. You can also apply them with a sponge. It's really entirely up to you. These are quite a versatile product, so you can apply them in a variety of different ways, and you're still going to get a really beautiful finish with the product. So I've just applied that onto my cheekbones, my cupid's bow and on the top of my brow, and as you can see, sort of it really does catch the light quite beautifully, but it does have quite a sort of purple cool tone to it. So this shade is definitely best for sort of the pale and porcelain skin tone, and unfortunately it is probably the only shade that you are going to like if you are of that sort of skin tone. So the next shade I've got is the shade Kitten. So this is basically a version of Stila's very famous Kitten shade. I used to love this particular shade when it was in the All Over Liquid Luminizer formula, but unfortunately I found that in this particular formula, perhaps because the formula is so pigmented, it didn't look as beautiful on my skin. It's a little bit too more rose goldish than the traditional Kitten that I used to love, so that is a little bit unfortunate. Even though it does sort of give a bit of a glow when I turn the side of my face, it does also have a little bit of starkness and look a little bit too bronzy on my skin when I'm looking directly ahead. As these highlighters do have that sort of powder silky-like finish, they also are quite long lasting and are great for those with an oilier skin type. So as you can see, it is a beautiful shade, but unfortunately it's obviously not great if you do have that very pale and porcelain skin tone. It's better reserved for people with a medium to dark skin tone. Something that is really great about these highlighters is that they do not accentuate any texture on the skin. I have quite dry skin and these seem to work really well on my skin type, and even if you had an oily skin you would also, I assume, like these because they aren't sort of greasy, oily or anything like that. They're a very lightweight and fine sort of product. So the next shade is the shade Bronze. Now I knew the moment that I saw this was not going to be a flattering shade for my skin tone, but I still put it on anyway. So as you can see, this shade does look like a very bad shimmery bronzer on me as opposed to a highlighter, but as an eyeshadow this is actually a really beautiful shade, and this shade would look amazing on those with a darker skin tone because it's really quite rich and sort of bronzy. So as you can see, these highlighters have really great pigment, but don't be too afraid because you can sort of shear them out quite a bit if you desire. Because these highlighters are that really interesting sort of cream to powder finish, you can use them either on top of powder or on top of creams and liquids. You're not going to have problems either way. These highlighters are more of a sort of metallic finish highlight as opposed to sort of a glowy or glossy one. So there's a look at all three shades there. You've got Transcendence, Kitten and Bronze. So obviously Transcendence is the only shade that really is suitable for those with a pale to porcelain skin tone, whilst Kitten and Bronze are more reserved for those with a darker skin tone. So as you can see, these highlighters apply really beautiful and smoothly to the skin. It's very easy to sort of work with them. They're not necessarily a product that I would recommend for somebody who is a very new beginner to the makeup world, as you may find that they are a little bit too pigmented, and they're definitely a product that you sort of need to learn to work with. But I really do like them, and I think they are a great highlighter. I think that if you did try them, you wouldn't be disappointed. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll leave some info in the description box below where you can follow me on all of my social media channels and networks.